The old oak tree stood silent, a sentinel against the ravaged landscape. Grim Hollow, once a cheerful town, was now a graveyard of shattered dreams. Broken houses stood like rotten teeth against the scarlet-stained horizon. 10 years had passed since happened. 10 years since Pennywise, the dancing clown, painted the town red. 10 years of fragile peace. Little Timmy, oblivious to the town's dark history, skipped merrily towards the oak tree. He was humming a tune, his bright eyes fixed on a lone red balloon caught in the tree's skeletal branches. The balloon swayed slightly, almost beckoning. A shiver ran down Timmy's spine, a prickle of unease. He could have sworn he heard a faint chuckle carried on the wind, a sound chillingly familiar. Inside the dilapidated Grim Hollow High School, a handful of survivors had sought refuge. Sarah, the stoic nurse, still haunted by the loss of her patients. David, the strong but silent mechanic, his hands forever stained with oil and something darker. And Emily, the schoolteacher, her once bright eyes now clouded with fear, clutching a worn copy of Moby Dick. They were all that remained of Grim Hollow. They had turned the school into a fortress, boarding up windows, setting traps, their sanctuary a fragile bubble in a sea of fear. They knew deep down that the peace wouldn't last. The nightmares, the fleeting glimpses of a horrifying clown were a constant reminder. The red balloons started appearing everywhere, floating serenely outside windows, tied to fences, even stuck to car antennas, harbingers of doom. Panic swelled within the school walls. The survivors huddled together, fear a tangible presence in the stale air. Emily clutched her book tighter, her knuckles white. Then it happened. Timmy's mangled body was found by the old well, twisted into an unnatural position, a single red balloon clutched in his lifeless hand. The balloon seemed to pulse, a malevolent heartbeat in the eerie silence. Their worst fears had been confirmed. It was back.
Oh no, Timmy!
The air grew thick, heavy with the stench of fear and sewer water. The shadows in the school seemed to writhe and contort, taking on sinister shapes. And then, there he was, Pennywise the dancing clown. His eyes, twin pools of malevolent glee, scanned the room, settling on each terrified face. His grin stretched wider, an obscene mockery of joy.
"Missed me, kiddies?"
He rasped, his voice a grating whisper. David, fueled by a surge of adrenaline and grief, charged. His wrench, his only weapon, met nothing but air. Pennywise merely chuckled, a low, rumbling sound that shook the very foundation of the school. Emily, her mind racing, remembered an old wives' tale, a whisper from her childhood.
A mirror? Show a monster its own reflection and it will flee?
She grabbed a shard of a broken mirror, its edges sharp and dangerous. Her hand trembled as she held it up to Pennywise.
Look!
She screamed, her voice hoarse with terror. The clown's grin faltered, a flicker of doubt in his eyes. He backed away from the mirror, his form flickering, his laughter turning into a high-pitched wail.
No, not the reflection, anything but that!
The room was filled with a blinding light. When it faded, Pennywise was gone.
We were free, for now. We burst through the front doors into the dying light of the setting sun, the red sky a grim reminder of the terror we had just faced. But we were driven by a primal need to survive. Section 6. Escape from Grim Hollow. Seizing their chance, the survivors fled. They ran through the echoing hallways, past classrooms filled with the ghosts of laughter and screams. The school seemed to fight them, the doors slamming shut, the floorboards groaning ominously beneath their feet.
Section 7. A new beginning? They found a new town, far away from Grim Hollow. They tried to rebuild their lives, haunted by the memories of that horrific night.
I found solace in helping others.
And I found it in the roar of engines.
For me, it was the written word.
But the fear remained, a constant shadow lurking at the edges of their new lives. They knew deep down that Pennywise was not truly gone. He was out there somewhere, waiting, watching. Section 8. Whispers in the Wind. Years passed. Grim Hollow remained a ghost town, a chilling reminder of Pennywise's reign of terror. The oak tree still stood, gnarled and twisted, a silent witness to the town's pain. And then one day, a red balloon appeared. It bobbed gently in the breeze, tied to the old swing set in the deserted school playground. A faint chuckle echoed through the empty streets, carried on the wind. A sound that sent shivers down the spines of anyone who remembered. Section 9. The final stand? The survivors, their faces etched with the passage of time, but their eyes still haunted, received a postcard. A picture of the oak tree, a single red balloon drawn in the corner. They knew what it meant. Pennywise was back.
And this time, we would face him together.
Armed with the knowledge that he could be defeated, fueled by the memory of our lost loved ones, we returned to Grim Hollow for a final stand against the nightmare that had haunted us for so long.
The battle for Grim Hollow and for our souls was about to begin.